So we welcome Ghanshyam once again. Thank you so much for coming in, Ghanshyam. Uh, we were all waiting for you. See, the children have started already writing in the chat. The time has come. So, yeah, over to you. We will take, Ghanshyam is going to take forward from where he left yesterday. And I request certain things here. I've been looking at the chat here. There are certain questions which are directed to the mentor. Kindly do not attempt to answer all of them on your own unless it's very basic. And do not indulge in spamming the chat box. Right? Over to you, Ghanshyam. Thank you.
Thank you, Anamika. Hi, all. Yes, I again repeat what Anamika said regarding the chat messages. I've been watching that many of the messages have been spammed on the group, and also there have been some kind of like I wouldn't say bashing, but there is some kind of like people telling not to do something. We have to be especially mindful in this part, because today we are also going to use a lot of the chat for our conversations. So please ensure that you keep the chat messages minimal. If there's a question, please put it across once. In case there is something which you want to ask us, like, but depending on the time, we will have like a question answer session towards the end of this workshop. So I'll be happy to answer whatever questions I can. Parth, this question I think you've been asking yesterday, and I've seen that this question coming up again. Like some basics as student, how can we start AI? Where to start AI is the moment you start to learn ML and start working on ML. As I told, AI is like I would say it's a 10,000 feet view, but your basics needs to start at machine learning. First learn machine learning, and then you can proceed towards the next part, which is coming up with the intelligence. So until you learn, like all what the previous panelists have been telling, and even Harsha was telling this morning, is first you need to learn. That is when you can implement. You cannot jump directly. Don't think about the Gopal. It's not language again, like how we did yesterday. Even today, we will be working on a very similar interface where you don't need any knowledge of any language as such, any programming language as such. First, understand the basics, understand your algorithms, right? And then today it could be Python, tomorrow it could be some other language. Like now, if you like Android started with Java, but today Kotlin has taken it over. So does it mean that people who knew Java cannot code in Kotlin? Like they need to upskill themselves. What matters is they need to have their basics right. Like yesterday, we will have part of presentation and then we'll jump into hands-on. So while I get to share my screen, and you will get about 30-35 seconds, go ahead, take a break, stretch yourselves and come back, and then we can start. So once again, welcome back, everyone. I'm just getting something set up here. Yeah. So a disclaimer, this is something which I learned from Siddhant's presentation yesterday, and I've already implemented it. Some images have been used in today's presentation, and they could be copyrighted. I have tried to find the source as much as possible and have shared the source. But in case this is copyrighted, this is just for educational purposes and not for any commercial purposes. And also in the hands-on lab, we will be using some names, and these names are completely for representation purposes only. Even before, like while we work on the solution, like if you are deploying the solution tomorrow, ensure that you're going to take care of any of these copyright violations, like ensure you are not getting into a copyright violation. And also you need to think about privacy policies, like that we will talk towards the end of this session. Quick thing, recap of what we did yesterday. We started with what is AI, why is AI needed at this time, at this point of a time, and also when to use AI. Then we talked about like how is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning working with each other, like how they constitute that entire part of artificial intelligence. I gave an introduction to what is machine learning and the different solutions of machine learning. We spoke about classification, regression, clustering, and recommendation. Saw a few applications of machine learning, and we understood what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning. Then I gave you 2 case studies. One was the recommendation system. The other case study was like the sentiment analysis. After that, we did a session, we did a lab on how to build your own AI model. So that's where we ended yesterday. And during the discussion yesterday, like I remember there were some questions like how computer vision works, because you had questions like some of them, when you open your webcam or when you start your webcam, it was showing as 70% dog or 60% cat. Why is this? How is this happening? There were questions like this. So that's what we are going to do today. We are discussing about how this is happening, how this happened. That's the introduction to deep learning. And then we are going to do a hands-on on developing chatbot. So what is deep learning? So deep learning is the same thing what we said, the computer vision. So it had multiple layers in an image, and it scanned each of these images, it scanned each of these pixels, and it tried to map your face with the pixel, with the pixel, for identifying what kind of an animal, or what was your how close were you for the data which the machine knows. So it uses something called neural networks, and neural networks is an idea which is taken from biology. It's a set of algorithms. Deep learning is nothing but a set of machine learning algorithms which are run at multiple levels, and each level gives you an output, and machine starts learning itself more and more with each level it passes through. So one question might be like, already we have machine learning, why deep learning is required? So if you look at this graph, it gives you the answer. It is data size versus model performance. So if you see the traditional machine learning algorithms, like initially it is really great, like you have great model performance when your data size is small. But as the data size increases, you can see that it stops at a certain level, like the performance does not increase. If the data size is more, the kind of performance you see does not exponentially rise, but it starts to gradually layer off, like it gradually it stays stable. It stays stable. Next is we are going towards like small neural networks, like when you are having like a basic neural network example. Again, after a while, you'll start seeing that as the data size increases, the performance stands at the same level. But in case of large neural network, so that is where deep learning comes into picture. In case of large neural network, you will start seeing the rise. You will start seeing with the data, the performance increases because the machine has started to learn with more and more data. So the performance increases with deep learning. So this is how it works. If you see this, when you feed this cat image, it goes through multiple layers and then comes out the prediction. So you can see some samples of like how faces are recognized. So the image is broken down into multiple small pieces. Each small piece goes through multiple layers of learning. So your system starts analyzing each pixel, understanding each pixel, and then it pass on the intelligence it has gained to the next level. And the next level starts understanding it better. And similarly, it starts recognizing, okay, is this a face? Is this a cat? Is it the face of a human being? Is it the face of a cat? So in yesterday's example, since we had given only two kinds of inputs, that is cat and dogs, it learned only about these two animals or these two faces. So how it happens is it tracks each and every pixel and it starts identifying this as, okay, this part is face, this part is part, this particular portion is part of this object. So let's see where deep learning holds good. The first place is classification. So consider this image of a person riding a bike. The first thing what you need to do when you're training the deep learning model is you need to label each of these label each of the objects in this. For example, bike, person, motorcyclist, etc. How do you do that? You identify the portion of the screen where the particular object is, and you start identifying what that particular object is. Like you're marking it as motorbike and person. So this is easy for us to understand, for human being to understand, because we know what is a bike, we know what is a person. It is easy for us, but computer does not see it the same way. For computer, we need to do something called semantic segmentation, where you are giving it in terms of pixels, where you're coloring them, you're separating these two objects, and you are feeding it to the computer to understand what exactly is happening. So once you train on these kinds of models, once you train on these kinds of images, the computer, when you start giving new kind of data to it, when you start giving new data to the machine, it starts recognizing these particular objects. The second thing where deep learning is helpful is natural language object retrieval. So sometimes on Google, you search image of a scene with 3 people. So this is one of the sample images you can get. Or when you say image of a scene with 3 people and man is on the right, you can get this particular, like you start, like computer starts identifying, reads this object, identifies what you're asking for, and it starts giving you the output in this format. The third is visual and textual questions. So it is also used in image search, Google image search, where you give an image and it immediately starts finding similar images or other images. So you might have found that you give an yellow object, image of an yellow object. Google, the initial search results could be the same image what you are searching for, but in many of the cases, it also starts responding back to you with any other image where yellow color is found or yellow color is prominent. So in case of visual and textual question answering as well, deep learning is used. And finally, in speech recognition. So speech recognition is another place where voice recognition or speech recognition is another place where deep learning is used. When you give an input audio, what happens is it goes through spectrogram, and the spectrogram converts this audio into a language which computer can understand in terms of like the binary digits, ones and zeros. And this goes through multiple layers of understanding. So one is called a convolution layer, one is called a recurrent layer, and one is the fully connected layer. So the fully connected layer is where it starts understanding like what you're talking, understanding or deciphering what has been told. So while for us it's like English is something which is easy, Chinese or Mandarin is considered to be a complex language in terms of its usage and understanding. So the best part is for machine, it does not matter if it is an English language or Mandarin language. it does the same process. The same kind of architecture is used for both these languages. It just changes, each layer changes the way it understands, but it's the same layers. So I've been talking too much about layers. I've been talking too much about like deep learning. What is deep learning? I need to give you a disclaimer. Ignore the next 3 slides if it is unclear, because the next 3 slides I'm going to talk about neural networks, and it is not, while it sounds simple, the moment you try to understand it, it becomes more and more complex. And we have a limited time frame where we are trying to do, like where we are going through this entire presentation, and we are also doing hands-on. There are people who research on neural networks for months together, for years together, for their degrees. So in case you're not understanding the next 3 slides, ignore it, like even forget it that those 3 slides were part of this presentation. So what a neural network? Neural networks is something very similar to how a human neuron is. Like the top image shows you like what is a human neuron looks like. It has a nucleus, it has dendrites. So dendrites fetch the information to the nucleus or the head of the neuron, and there the actual action takes place, and it starts giving out signals to other parts of your body or other neurons in your body. Similarly, the neural networks play in the same do it the same way. Like each layer is broken into multiple neurons. It is we call them neurons since it is a neural network, and each layer or each neuron gets some information, does a machine learning processes. That is the bias what we are talking about here. Does the machine learning process, and then it starts sending out the data to the next layers. So there are 2 types of neural networks which are used in deep learning. One is called the fully connected neural network. In this fully connected neural network is where each network or each layer, the neurons in each layer is connected to every neuron in the other layer. So you can see there is an input layer here and there is a hidden layer. So you can see that every neuron is linked with other neurons in the layer. Sorry, I mean to say in the input layer BN. BN is attached to all the way from the B1 to BN in the second layer. Similarly, every layer, every neuron is attached to each other. While it is very helpful in getting better data, it is also not very efficient, in the sense it takes a lot of computer resources. It needs a lot of memory usage. The other network is called convolution network. So this is something which is primarily used in the image recognitions, wherein it is not like each layer is not connected, like each neuron is not connected to all the neurons in the next layer. Each neuron is connected to nearby neurons. Say like if there are 5 or 6 neurons which are closer to the current neuron, it talks only to those layers. So in this way, what it does is your computation power required is less, and at the same time, each layer need not pass on all the information to the other layer. So computer starts understanding only one pixel at a time, and the information is shared only with few closer neurons. Thereby, the understanding of a nearby network or the understanding of the nearby layers, nearby features is easier. And there is a third neural network which is called deep neural network, and deep neural network is a mixture of convolutional network and fully connected neural networks. Samia is asking, what is kernel? Kernel is I would say the brain. Kernel is the core of your neuron. That is the place where all your processing happens. So now today we are jumping into the hands-on quicker. So let's get into the hands-on now. So first, open this page. I'm sharing the link as well. It's very similar to the yesterday's page. except yesterday was TSO AI -1. Today it is TSO AI -2. So what we are going to do today is um, we are going to do a chatbot, and the most important thing for building a chatbot always is to have the chats properly. Please don't start editing it right now before I give the instructions. Please don't start editing. Can you delete whatever? I think the language needs to be better. Otherwise, we will have to. I said, like, don't start editing. Don't edit. Harsh, you can delete. Harsh and others, whoever editing, can you equate until you guys stop? I will have to just hold on. Like, I will not be continuing. I think everyone needs to stop when working on this document until I give instructions. So I was telling you the most important part of any creating a chatbot is to first decide on what the transaction is. I was trying to give all of you a chance where you would be part of building this chatbot again. And I have removed the editing permissions for everyone because the way things uh, happened on the document, I wouldn't want it to continue. So I have removed the editing permissions. So probably we have to use the chat window here to create the conversation. So let's begin with the first point. How do you start a chat conversation? So one of the ways you start conversation is using a hi, hello. Any other words or any other way you want to start a conversation? Any other keywords you want to start with? Okay, I will. Uh, so Okay. I think we got good number of prompts to start with. Then from the bot, like what kind of messages do you expect? So here I'm using like Mowgli is one name which I'm using. We can use multiple names. What else can you expect, or what else? Or give me some names if you want any fictional names. So it could be like, hi there. You need not give the name at all. I will be helping you. Or we schedule a call for you. To get some information from you. Okay, you can hold on to the words. Once you are starting to develop your own chatbots, you can give whatever names you want. So I found some interesting names like Morgan, Jarvis, Sher Khan. So you can hold on to the names, you can use them. So this is going to be like what we are going to do is a kind of chatbot for a laptop customer care. So we need to understand the detail, like we need to get the details of the laptop from the user, and then we need to understand the problem. So after, specify your name. You could respond as my name is. So these are some of the responses you can give to the chatbot. Then we go to the next step. So after the name, we are looking for the laptop details. So the assistant will ask you, Shubhalakshmi, we are still building the conversations. Once we build the conversations, we will start working on the chatbot. So that's what we are currently doing. Okay. We can also specify an example. Spiron and any date. So after this, we can go with other details like serial number, bill date, bill details, collecting the phone number, collecting the email ID of the customer. So that is how we can continue with building the bot. Since we were not able to create the conversations together, I wouldn't want to take much of time in building this conversation. We can build it directly on the platform. So the platform we'll be using, as someone suggested or someone asked earlier, is called Dialogflow. You would need a Google login for this. The link is being shared with you now. So please go to this website and log in with your Gmail address. So first thing first, once you log into this URL, you will be able to, the first thing if you have already projects, you can see the projects. If you don't have projects, you will have this button, create agent. Click on create agent. And give your agent a name. So it cannot have a space. So give your agent any name. I will name it as laptop care as my agent. Select your time zone. It would be required at later point of time. And let the Google project be create new Google project. So this particular field, let it be create new Google project and click on create. It is taking time. Okay, so I will wait for some time. By the time, like, once you see this page called intents, until then I'll wait. Once you come to this page, please respond. See, don't mention done, sir. Please respond as seeing intents, so that I know everyone is on the same page. Perfect. I think Arnav had a question. What is time zone? Arnav, time zone is the place from where you are creating this chat, like the time zone where you are creating this this particular chat bot. That primarily is used at a later point of time. In case you're using some time or a date and time kind of objects in your chat, it will be able to recognize to which time zone you're referring to. Mega Rounder, the way how you do is you need to click on create an agent on the top. So right now it is showing create intent here, but when you log into Dialogflow for the first time, this button will be called create agent. Click on create agent, give a name for your agent. What do you want your name to be, your agent to be called? No, don't set it as a mega agent, because setting it as a mega agent, it creates a completely combination of multiple agents. You don't want to get into there yet. So just ensure that you have disabled that. So I'll just go to the settings and show it once again. So if you click on this gear icon, that takes you to the setting. So this is the name I have specified, laptop care. You can give a description to how your agent will be called. This is a demo laptop customer care agent. So let me tell you a little bit about Dialogflow as well. So Dialogflow is a platform which is used to create natural language conversations, or a natural language conversation framework. It will not be directly used. Only during the development you will be using this as a platform, but you can use this as a platform to create chatbots for your Facebook, chatbots for your Google Actions, and other platforms, like other different kind of interactive chatbots. Or if you want to include it in your website, you can use this particular platform to create that entire chat flow, how it needs to happen, how the interactions happen, and then you can export and use it in your particular uh, website. I'm sure, like, looking at the some of the comments, I'm sure some people have already worked on Dialogflow. There is a possibility. If you know, great. But for people who are here for the first time, if you have any doubts, you can ask it here. Okay, so now that I have received most of you telling that you have seen the intent, I am going back to the intent page. So what intents? So let me explain what are intents. Intents are the steps or the conversations which happen between the human beings and the bots. Okay, so by default, when you create an agent, two intents are created. One is a default fallback intent. So if you click on that, it opens up like what is that intent. You can see there is nothing here, nothing in the training part, nothing in the training phrases. But if you come down to responses, you can see a lot of responses here. Don't edit it, right? Abhisoumya, you should not set it as a mega agent. So as I'm telling you once again, what are intents? Intents are the steps or the conversations what you are foreseeing with your platform. So every conversation you foresee, every conversation you can think of, you need to have an intent for that. By default, when you start a agent or when you create an agent, it creates two intents: default welcome agent and default fallback agent. Right now I'm showing you default fallback agent. So in default fallback agent, there are different areas. Like when you open this intent, there are different areas. I will explain this in some time, but for now, if you see in the fallback, you can see that text responses are there for response, but nothing for training. This intent will be used when user inputs a invalid entry. For example, you have a testing area right here. So right now, just go ahead and say your name. Like, you can, if you say hi, you will get a proper message. But if you write something which is not a welcome message, like say, I'll just type my name. So the default response here is one more time because it did not understand what it is. So if you see the responses here, there are some 12 different responses. What the Dialogflow framework does is it randomly picks up one response and shares with you. So I will again say something random. So I'm just giving a different name. So see, this is not what it is expecting. This is which is out of its understanding. So that is the reason it says, I missed that, say again. So now I click back on this intents and I go to the main page. Now we will get started with, Equir, it is multiple, like there are multiple responses. It can come from anything. Okay, let's get started with the welcome intent. So this is generally the place where your interaction starts. So you can see under events, it says welcome. So which means whenever it's at the welcome part or whenever it is the first interaction starting, that is when this particular program or that is when this particular part of this chat framework is called to it. Arvind, you can add voice. Let us go later to the voice, but right now, Dialogflow as a framework, it is done in English or it is done in written text. You can add voice to it at a later point of time. So that mic is there for you to talk. For example, I'll click on that and I'll say Ghanashyam. So that is what it understood. I said Ghanashyam, but it understood Kenosha. So that is the reason this mic is voice input. It is not voice response. So hold on to voice responses yet. Ranviji, can you, when you say repeat from taking the intent page, I didn't understand what you're talking about. I am explaining the welcome intent right now. So as I was telling you, events is when should this particular intent or when should this particular conversation happen. So you can see that here it is mentioned intent. If you want other intents, you can see different inbuilt events which are present. So you can use this with Slack. You can use this as a Skype bot. You can use this to build a Telegram bot. You can use this for, as I already told you, a Facebook bot. And telephony is something which you might have heard about it. There is an artificial intelligence AI kind of a call, telephone call, which has happened. I think Sundar Pichai demonstrated it in 2019, I believe, wherein the bot talks to a customer care, a human being talks to a customer care or a bot which is on the other side. Yeah, so right now we are just selecting welcome event for Dialogflow. And these are the phrases it is going to understand as part of training phases is like when you are typing any of these particular phrases from here. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah. If you can see, there are training phrases here, and there is also training phrases which are continued to the next page. So these are the different kind of hi messages or hello messages which you can find. So let's try it out now. I will say hello. The moment I type hello, you can see that it is giving a different kind of response. It says, hello, how can I help you? That is because when it sees any of these particular statements, any of these particular words, it starts responding with these kind of responses. Hi, how are you doing? So you can see hello, how can I help you? So I again try with a different kind of hi word. So the framework randomly picks one of the response and it starts giving it to you. Someone, Aditya, was unable to use the mic. So Aditya, you can click on this and you can talk to it anything, and you need to stop it because it takes 1 minute of input. You need to stop it yourself. So I've spoken a lot to it. I don't know how it has understood. So this is what the speech has understood. You can talk to her doctor, anything, and you need to stop it because it takes 1 minute of input. You need to stop it. So that is how the machine has understood whatever I spoke until now. The moment I give that, since it is not a default welcome message, it gives me the fallback response which says, I didn't get that, can you repeat? Arvind, you can't change the fallback intent to welcome intent. If you want some of the responses from fallback intent, you need to specify here. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to build our chatbot from the document. So have this document open. We can leave the let me go back to the top. So in the default welcome intent, you can leave the training phrases as it is, and you can add more of them. So we can add namaste there, because namaste is not part of it. So I'm typing in namaste. Also, I am typing in Ola. You are free to put whatever it is. You are free to add your own statements for welcome message. It is not that you need to use just this. I'm just showing you a standard flow. Then come down. I'm deleting all these responses, and I will take it from here. So you need to give one sentence at a time. You cannot copy the entire box and paste it. You need to enter one sentence at a time. So now if we first save it, and after you get this intent saved and done, you do hi here. So you can see it says, hi, I'm Mowgli, your virtual assistant. And it gives the entire statement. So it is randomly picking there. So if I do it again, you can see it is giving a second name, or the second, it is picking up from the second statement. So this is one way, like where you can have like multiple times repeating the same statement. So if you see here, you can make this as a common statement. I will need some details to begin with you. So you can actually split this entire statement into multiple different statements. How you need to do, it's not case sensitive. Okay, good. At least someone has responded. Thank you, Ekwer. It's not case sensitive. Yeah, how we can do is we can have this as multiple blocks. So first we already have like these two statements. We can do something like, either if you want to add more options, you can click on 3 and start entering, or if you want to create a separate block, what you can do is you can do add response and text response. So what I'm going to change in this one is, I'm just cutting them. Like, I'm not deleting them, I cut it. So here I can type, I'm Mowgli, your virtual assistant. Or Rahil, I'm sharing the link for the document with you again. Can someone from the incubating team, can you share the link to the document, the bit.ly link again, please? Yeah, I have shared the link in the chat as well, Rahil. Okay, I'm Sher Khan. One more name. So this is a second block which I have created. The first block is hi and hi there. So I will add another block, third block, and that would be what I cut earlier. I'm going to paste that, and I'm just making some small edits. Okay, this is something. This is another option. The third option for greeting. So you can see now that there are 3 blocks. One which just gives you the greeting of hi there, and hello. The next one, it talks about the name of your virtual assistant. And third one is to give more information, like when you talk to a customer care representative. So this is how it happens. First, they greet you, then they talk about you, like they introduce themselves, and third thing they do is always to share, or always to give you the next steps. So I have given all these 3 blocks, and I'm going to click on save. You can see it says intent saved here. And after a while, you also see agent training started and agent training completed. So wait until you find this agent training completed. So right now it has just started. Let's try. So if you see, last time it was coming as one statement, but right now it has taken like 3 different statements, and it's merging all 3 statements together and responding. So this is how you end your first intent, or this is how the welcome part happens. Now what you need to do is start creating more intents for your conversations. So let me click on save once again, and then I will go back to intents. So click on intents. It will go to that main screen of where you can find all intents. Create intent. Now we need to specify a name for this intent, because at a later point of time when you're debugging, like tomorrow, if you see there is some issue which is happening with your tomorrow, if there is some issue happening with your chatbot, you need to come back here and you need to edit it. You need to make those changes. So always give the intent name which you can understand. So right now I'm giving name and contact details. Okay, so this is the next intent which will be called. So the intents have to be created in the same order how they will be invoked. So this will be the next intent which is being called. So name and contact details. So now you need to come here and start adding training phases. How will you respond? Like one way you respond is my name is. This is where I was telling you how important building the chat conversation is, because first you need to identify all the different options how people can interact with your chatbot. That is the reason we were creating the document. But no problem. Let's just focus on this creating this chatbot directly. We'll say my name is. I'm just giving this. So the moment you enter, or the moment you type a name, you probably can see this kind of a the moment you type your name, you can probably see this kind of highlighting coming up. So let me try changing that first. You should also see this. The moment you say my name is James, it tries to identify that. I will talk about what is this identification in a while. That is one is that my name is, and the next one is name is James. This is another option. There are people who sometimes respond directly, like without waiting to type the entire statement. They just want to type their name. So let me try that also as one of the options. Now, when the third time you entered James, it did not show up this highlighting because the sentence or the model does not understand what is this. It could be just a word, it could be anything. So it is not understanding what this name is. That's why there is no highlight. Do we want to highlight it? Let us talk about that in a while. So these are the training phases which we can think of. If there is any other phrase you can think of, please put in the chat window. I would be happy to include them as well. So I did not get any responses, so I'm proceeding with that. So the next section here is called action and parameters. So just few minutes ago, I was talking to you this highlighting which is happening. So what is this highlighting? It is something called parameters. So click on this actions and parameters. You can see that whatever is highlighted here, that has taken that as a parameter. Okay, hey, it's James. I just saw it. So this time, also it is not recognizing James as a name, but it is one of the options. That's fine. So what is the name you want to give to the parameter? Parameter in the sense, these are the things which can keep changing. So every time the name is not James, this is just a sample what we are giving, right? So James has become a variable. James has become a parameter. And what is the name you want to give it for the parameter? Computer by itself has considered this as given hyphen name. I'm just going to change it as name. You can give whatever you want, whatever word you want, and it is required. So for us to continue our discussion, this information is required. So click on this required tag. Okay, so click on this required tag. Immediately you get an option on the right side called define prompt. So click on define prompt. It opens up this box and you can specify, please enter your name. Please share your name. In this format. So what is a prompt is, in case you're not giving the name in a proper format, you can a proper format in a format which the system understands. You can specify how the name has to be input. So you have seen sometimes when you enter incorrect data, it says, please enter the data in this correct format, right? Ranviji, I think like repeating from training the agent, I think I have come a long, like I have explained too many things. So try and understand from this point onwards. I am sure this video will be shared with you later. At that point of a time, you can go back and revisit this training. Try to understand from this particular point onwards. So please share your name in this format. You can say, my name is your name. Or you can say, please share your name So these are the two options. And I click on save. So just for some people who are asking me to repeat, I'm going to repeat this entire thing. after the default welcome instant, I clicked on create create intent. And after clicking on create intent, this page comes up, wherein first I specify the name for the intent. I specify something which I can understand. Okay. Context is not something which we are using it right now, so we will keep it. This context is required when you're going to perform any specific operation related to, like, say, a geographical location, related to a particular topic, related to a particular app. So right now, don't worry about context. Let's click on events. So this is also not something which happens at a particular event, like the welcome intent. The welcome event intent, if you remember, it had something called welcome here. Under events, it had something called welcome. But for us, this is a natural progression from your welcome intent. After that, this is the next intent to be called. So you are not going to use events also. We then started entering training phases. So what are the different ways how this intent can be invoked? So how do you invoke this particular intent? So the last response, if you remember, see here on the right side, you can see, I will need some details before I can schedule a call for you. To begin with, please let me know your name. So it has stopped there, which means the computer or the machine or your chatbot is waiting for a response from the user. So the next obvious transition would be to tell your name. So how your name is told is the training phases what we are going. My name is James is one way where you can say. Name is James is another way how you can say. Third one is just telling your name. That's James. And fourth one, someone suggested is, hey, it's James. That's how you can expect the responses, right? So if you see in hey, it's James and James, it's not highlighting the James word, but in terms of when it comes to name is James and my name is James, it automatically highlighted the name. The reason is because the computer has understood, your machine or your chatbot has understood, this is going to be a dynamic value. So always James is not the value. So Pavit, you need not write all the names in the world. So that's the reason where this comes into picture. This whole highlighting and using as parameters, that is where it helps. So when you say my name is James, and James is considered as a variable, James is considered as a parameter. And what is the parameter? It says given name. So given name means these are some of the standard names, or these are some of the names which you can understand, which the computer knows, okay, if it is a string, then this could be the name. You can use any kind of name here. We will see that once we start the testing. So it recognizes this as a parameter, which means it's good for you. This particular James would not be a right way to respond. The reason is, then the computer will start thinking anything what you specify as a name here, right? So you don't want to consider this name directly. And when it comes to hey, it's James, you want this statement to be understood. So this is a valid way of telling the name. So double click on James. If you select the entire word, double click, you get the option here. So I want to choose it as a variable. So I am clicking here as system given name. Okay. So how the name can be entered is in 4 ways. Hey, it's James. James. You can say my name is. So that is a way people respond. And there is another way people respond is name is so and so. So all these 4, in case of 3 statements, when it is my name is James, and hey, it's James, we are making the computer to understand that, okay, whatever follows that hey, it's or name is going to be a variable. It can change. So I click on these 2 and I click on save. Sorry, I'm still not clicking. I take that back. So when I click on this, it gives it creates a parameter. So if you come down in the actions and parameters, you can see that the system has identified it as like what is the parameter name, what is the type of parameter, and by default this is unchecked. This checkbox is unchecked. So I will check it again, and there is something called prompts. If you click on prompts, you need to enter these two. So saying that, okay, see, this is how you need to share your name. It is in this particular format. Okay, so I can say, please share your name in this format. Okay, it's your name. The reason why I'm specifying this your name part, is people do understand when this particular tag is given that they need to replace that. So I click on close. I click on save now. Again, let's wait for till the agent is trained. So once you click on save, automatically it saves the intent, and then the agent training starts and agent training stops. Okay, let's get started. Hi. Okay, I'll just enter my name directly. So the moment it finds it, the moment it sees, like, it doesn't recognize that, it says, can you say that again? Because it is falling back to the original one. So what we can do is, okay, hey, it's okay. It did not start there. So let me save this again and see. Okay, now the agent training has started. I didn't get the notification for agent training complete. So let me try again if it is working. Abhijit, I will just show you once again. Okay, the default response is not available. The reason is I have not given any responses yet. My mistake. Okay. Abhijit, this is about the highlighting part. I think there were a few of you who have asked, how did I do the highlighting? So let me, this is how it was earlier. It was not recognizing James as a name. So what I'll do is I will double click on James. So it selects the entire word. And once I do that, since the parameter of name is already created, I click here, I select it, and it automatically does the highlighting. I hope that answers your query. So when you just tell the name, there are cases when it says, like, it doesn't understand. So if you remember earlier, I was trying just my name. So when it is my name, it doesn't understand, okay, this is a proper input. So it goes back to the fallback intent, the first intent which I showed you, fallback intent, it is going there. Whereas if I enter James, it says, please share your name in this format, because this particular intent, right, it understands if James is an input, it understands, okay, the input is in a wrong method or a wrong syntax, and it asks you to enter in the proper syntax. Okay, so that is the reason. It is always let us try giving this also as highlighting this as a name as well. Let us see what happens. Okay, agent training completed. Let's start from hi. Okay, it's recognizing Tim as a name, but if I type junk, like let me, the moment I type junk, it is not recognizing it. It says I missed that because it sees that, okay, this is not in a name format. This particular is not a name. That is the reason it says I missed what you said. So it is going back to the fallback intent. Okay. So now I'll show you how to use this parameter name as well. So in the responses, let us give some response. Hi, welcome. So this is without using a parameter. Then we also want to use a parameter. So we'll say hi, dollar, and the name of the parameter. So the moment you type dollar, you get this name. Okay. So it says dollar name. Hi, dollar name. Welcome to the customer care. Please share your email ID and phone number. Okay. This is the next question. So I'm entering it as a different statement altogether. So in one response, you don't have the name popping up. In the other response, you have the name coming up. So test this intent. So it is not recognizing Guru as a name, because Guru is also a general word. So let me try different format. Guru Prasad. Let's see if it recognizes. No. Okay. Yeah. So you can see it automatically picked, giving me the name of the person. It automatically took the second option here, and it gave me the response here. Welcome to the customer care. Please share your email ID and phone number. My default response is the prompt. So default response we have, until and unless you enter anything in this responses, it will be empty. So always you ensure that you enter some details here so that there is a response which goes back to the user, and it will not work until you click on save here. So ensure you click save here. Okay. So we are done with this one intent of just getting the name. So right now, like I'll show you another, I'll go to the next step of creating a follow-up intent. Like after name, what is the next thing we require? And it has to be in the same order. So let's do something called follow-up intent. Okay. Follow-up intent is custom. So we are creating a custom follow-up thing, a custom follow-up intent. So once it is created, click on that particular thing. So user will enter email ID and phone number. So it is okay, and email.com. So you can see, like last time it highlighted, but this time it is not highlighting. So, but we want it to highlight, like we want it to recognize the email ID and phone number. So what we can do is we can select this the moment we select, it comes up with what are the inbuilt parameters it can understand. There is an option for email. So the system comes with a set of inbuilt regular expressions. I'm not sure if you've heard about regular expressions. So system has already created, like is already intelligent to understand how the email IDs are, how the phone numbers are. So what you can do is you can select this email ID, and you can select the entire email ID, click on system email. You can see here, similarly in the first statement as well, select email ID, automatically it pops up to the top. Similarly for the phone number, let us see if it has a phone number. Yes, it has a phone number. So it understands, okay, phone number will be in this format. That is how the system is understanding now. So let us do the same thing for the second one as well. So you can see that the email ID and phone number, it's expecting, like the next intent, what it is expecting is email ID and phone number. So we want both of these details. So we are just clicking on required, and we need to define the prompts. Please enter valid email ID and please enter valid phone number. Okay. And like before we go to the responses, I'll just click on save. I'm just looking at the chat here. Gopal, it says it is not recognizing the name entered. Gopal, what is the name you have entered that it is not recognizing? If it is not recognizing just the name, try using the format what we have given, the other formats what we have given, that my name is, and see if it recognizes. Because sometimes the system considers few words as it is not part of the names, it is a general word. Okay. So we have given how the responses for email and phone number could be. There are multiple ways. I'm just, for the demonstration purposes, we have got just 2 of it. There are other ways as well, which we need to train the model. For now, only these two ways. What we are also checking is whether the email ID and the phone number is in a valid format. So that is something which we are checking. And then we'll say, thanks, we have received your details. Okay. Thanks, we have received your details. And since it is taking a while to continue this chat conversation or continue building this chat robot, and also considering that we are running short of time, let us end the conversation here, which means to say the moment this statement is given, this whole chat conversation ends. So I have clicked on this one, set this intent as end of conversation, and I click on save. Okay, looking at chats, Ranvijay, I don't know, like when you say everything went wrong, from where did it go wrong? Like, what did you miss it? I'm not sure. I'm not able to highlight the email. Rahel, what you need to do is, like, let me show you once again. For the first one, I'll show you once again. Once you have entered the training phrases, after you have entered, use your mouse, like use the caret symbol and select it. Once you select it, automatically this pops up. If this is the first time you're creating a parameter, or you're creating this as a parameter, you will have to search it way down. The sys.email will be way down. But for now, it will be on top itself. Since I've already created one, it is on top. So I'm selecting this. So the moment I selected, you can see it is highlighted. And don't worry about the highlighting color. For me, it is yellow and pink. For you, it could be blue, it could be gray, it could be green. So for every person, the way it highlights, the color it gives is different. Don't worry about that. Next question is, okay, next question is how to save as end. Okay, so once you come to response, like after you enter your text response, you have this option called, there is a small slider. So by default, it is it is grayed out because it is disabled. If you want to stop the conversation here, you can enable this. You can click on it. Once it slides to the right, it means this will be the last conversation. Click on save. Okay, intent saved. Let's wait for a few seconds to see if it trains the agent. If not, let's try again. Okay, intent is saved. Agent training completed. Great. Let's try it. I will say hi. It's giving me, I will say, like I will work in the proper format. I will not try to break it up right now. Okay. Welcome to the customer care. Please share your email ID and phone number. I will just enter. So it did not receive the phone numbers. That's why it's here. It is asking, please enter valid phone number. So let me see some 5 digits. So it's not a valid number. So it is looking for 10 digits. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is accepting it because all that it is doing is it is looking for 10 digits. The moment I have entered 10 digits, it says thank you, and it has stopped. Like if I do anything else now, it might not work because this is the end of conversation. Okay. So Ranvijay, you are not going to train it manually. Like the moment you click on save button, the system, the Dialogflow framework will train its agent, will train the chat agent. So you need not worry about that. Vani, I think I'll leave it to the Incubate and team to tell me how they will be providing recording of this session and when will it be available. Arvind, if we add more data, it will be a better experience. Yes, it will be a better experience. But considering that we don't have much time, and I have one more thing to show, which might help you guys at a later point of time, I am ending it here. Yeah, Ayush, the reason is it is not recognizing, since you just told email and you have not entered anything, it is not recognizing the entire statement. So it is stopping there. It is thinking, it is going back to that fallback intent. If you remember, it is going back there. Kushagra, in my system, it is showing your name. I'm not sure where you entered that your name thing. You basically need to use that dollar symbol. I think you have not used it. Guneet, I'm not sure on WhatsApp because I'm sure this is a heavy file. We will not be downloading it and sharing the video. If you are getting the links at a later point of time, it will be the YouTube link and not a downloadable version of the video. Perfect. So this is what we have done so far. If I go back to the main intents page, we edited the default welcome intent. Then we created a name and contact details major intent, like a first intent. And under the name and contact details intent, let me go back, sorry. Under the name and contact details intent, we created another follow-up intent. So how you create a follow-up intent is you click on this add follow-up intent. By this, what happens is basically the moment you start a name and contact details intent, it will go to the email intent directly. So just to show you a sample, I will start the conversation again, and it is asking for name, but let me write email ID. So it is not understanding, because since it's a follow-up intent, if you enter the email ID directly, it is not understanding that. Now let me go in the proper way. I say, my name is this thing. And now if I type the same response, it understands. Okay. So it is asking for the follow-up, the phone number as well. So name and contact details is the first intent we created. That is the first interaction which is going to start. And after that, we are doing the custom, the second follow-up intent, that is to collect the email ID and phone number from the user. Okay. So since I have some of you who have said it is working, let me go to the next step. And that is integrations. So we will do one integration here, and that will be the Google Assistant integration for voice. I think some of you asked, like, can we use voice? You can use voice. Click on that. By default, whatever is there, let them be as it is. Auto preview changes is turned off. You just turn it on. It needs to go from gray to blue, and then click on test. So the moment you click on test, it opens up Google Assistant. Jishnu, it works with Hindi as well. Hindi, I have seen, I don't remember seeing any other Indian language support yet. But yes, already Dialogflow for Hindi is available. So if you go to the settings, you will be able to configure that. Even Hindi is available for voice assistant as well. So here, I clicked on test for Google Assistant, and we went to the Google Assistant page. So if you click on test app, talk to my test app, and let me just say my name directly. The reason it gave up, or the reason it was able to identify it, is I had tagged this name as well. Yes, Arnav, a new window opens. Arvind, I don't think so there's a necessity for making native language voice assistant, because Google already is supporting like Hindi, and also I think they are in the works for supporting other Indian languages. But yes, like if you want to build it from scratch, you are free to do it. Arun, permission denied your request. At what point you're getting that request? It could be that you're not sharing all the you're not sharing all the details for whatever is required for actions or the assistant. I think that could be an issue. Now let me continue here. Let me just say, yeah, because it did not recognize that. So it did not understand that email. Okay. Oh, because it has stopped. Let's start again. So you can see that it is giving only one statement here. So I'm just going back to Dialogflow. I wanted to talk about it. Let me close this. So in case of Google Voice, one thing is it can recognize only two text responses blocks. So that is the reason if you see in this particular text, in the second text, it just gave me one. It did not consider anything else. The max Google Assistant can consider is only 2 blocks. If you want a different kind of response on the assistant, you can do that here. So I'm back in Dialogflow. One is the default. There is something called Google Assistant. If you click that, you can specify different responses for the Google Assistant itself. So let me do one thing. Let me say simple response, hi from your assistant. So I'm just changing that for demonstration purposes. So hi from your assistant, and I'm clicking on save. Okay, the intent is saved. Agent training complete. Let's try directly if it is working. I click on talk to my test app. So if you see, whatever we specified for the assistant is coming here directly. So using Dialogflows also, you can create assistant or create Google Assistant conversations. It could be a game, it could be a general conversation, it could be like some pre-fed data. Like if you have stories to tell, you could load some stories and you could create a Google Actions program which tells you stories. Okay, please explain the assistant thing again. Okay, Mamta, I believe you're talking just about this part. So the responses are 2 ways. Like if you don't specify anything in this Google Assistant tab, you will get the data from this default, whatever you have specified in this default category responses. But if you want different kind of responses to be coming on Google Assistant, click on that and enter your responses here. You can also see the moment you click on add responses, there are different types of responses you can give. Like it could be a list of responses. It could be suggestion clips. It could be carousel card, like a group of cards on the display, like on your phone and on the smart displays, you will be able to see them. So you can choose a different response for Google Assistant. That is what you can do. So right now I have just chosen simple response, hi from your assistant. That's it. So that's the reason when you test it on assistant, you are receiving this particular response. You are not getting hi there and all the entire, like the 3 statements what we had written earlier. I think with that, we come to the end of today's session. But before I open up for questions, let me unshare my screen. I want to show you guys a video. Okay, I'll play the video. You can make it full screen. Yes, perfect. Let me know if you're hearing the voice. I have just paused it. Okay, perfect. I'm restarting.
The actual moonshot is wonderful, inspirational, poetic, beautiful, involved great technical challenges, genuine heroism. It brought the world together. But think about the Polynesian islander on the dugout canoe deciding one day they were going to go that way. No one had ever been that way before. No one even knew if there was anything that way before. It was amazing, and it changed the world.
People can set their minds to magical, seemingly impossible ideas, and then through science and technology, bring them to reality. And that then sets other people on fire, that other things that look impossible might be accomplishable.
Galileo is such a hero, in thinking big. And what he represents to me is both curiosity and wonder that humanity had, that pushed him and drove himself to invent and work on the first telescopes that allowed us to see the moon, and here we are.
These aviation pioneers were figuring it out as they went. No one really knew how to build an airplane, right? No one knew how to fly an airplane. It was amazing and crazy and wonderful, and they wanted to explore.
Many years ago, the great British explorer George Mallory, who was to die on Mount Everest, was asked why did he want to climb it. He said, because it is there.
There's so many challenges in the world, and you can feel daunted by that, and sort of oppressed by that, or you kind of say, how might we think differently about this?
Everyone else in the world is working on the next 10%. If you can be the one that delivers that 10 times improvement, you have a chance to really change things.
If you want cars to run at 50 miles per gallon, fine, you can retool your car a little bit. But if I tell you it has to run on a gallon of gas for 500 miles, you have to start over.
You need a lot of courage in this work, and you need a lot of persistence. One of the things that's really critical is not only having the courage to keep trying every day or thinking big, even if you don't really 100% believe it's possible, like you might think this might be possible, have the courage to try. That's how the greatest things have happened.
You don't spend your time being bothered that you can't teleport from here to Japan, because there's a part of you that thinks it's impossible. Moonshot thinking is choosing to be bothered by that.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Humanity's progress has been a series of amazing, audacious things, from the very small and personal up to the great, big, and grand. And we are a species of moonshots. And to me, that's like the really amazing, poetic, and inspirational thing.
I think our ambitions are a glass ceiling on what we can accomplish.
When you find your passion, you're unstoppable. You can make amazing things happen. It's been true through all of history.
I believe in the human spirit, and I believe that there are always going to be crazy people who will get out of bed one morning and say, you know what? I think I can build a space elevator, and let's go and do it. But I think that if we become afraid to take these great big risks, we stop inspiring people. We stop achieving things. And the biggest nightmare scenario is that we won't have what it takes to solve the really big challenges.
When Kennedy said that we would put a man on the moon, it's about the fact that he said, we don't know how to do this yet, and we're gonna do it anyway. And that sends chills up everybody's spine. Because if that happens, what couldn't we do?
So with that, we come to the end of this presentation. There are some links which we will be sharing with you. So these are all the links which we have used between yesterday and today. I think I also included what Karthik spoke earlier about data.go.in. That's the data you can receive about like the anything related to India. You can get all the data from this particular website. With that, I think we can open for questions for a few minutes. Team, anything? Okay. Yes, I will share the email ID. But before that, yes, we can export the chatbot. Good question, Ayush, because I think I had missed that particular thing. What you can do is you can use this integrations to integrate this chatbot with other services which is available. So if you go here, you can click, if you go down and like if you scroll down, you can see the different number of options which are available. You can also, I believe you can download it. Let me just go to here. Yes, you will be able to export it. So export as a zip file, you can download it. So you need to click on the settings icon click on export and import, and then you will be able to download this entire chatbot. Yeah, that is the thing. If you want to share the chatbot with someone else, you can use this share option here. Who has the access? Like right now, I'm the only person, but I'll be able to give access to anyone else as well. Yeah, that's about it. Rohit Rohit or Anamika, can you tell me like how much time we have for questions?
So you can take 2-3 minutes more if you find some question that you would want to address right now.
Yeah.
Export and show. There is a question coming up from Mr. Naveen Kumar. Can you please export and show? We want to see that.
So Naveen, it just downloads as zip. So implementing it will take another like half an hour or so. So maybe at a different point of time we can do that. But right now we don't have sufficient time to show how to export this and import it in some other thing, import it in a different application, or import it in a different website, on a different website.
Any other question?
So someone had asked me for the email ID. You can do this. Yeah, you are free to close the chatbot window now. And the reason why I showed you that video towards the end is I think we are at that stage when we need to start thinking about X. Like we need to start thinking big. We still are focusing on our regular day-to-day life and issues in our regular day-to-day life. But I think the time is now, like using AI, using ML, using deep learning, using these technologies. It's time when we start focusing on bigger issues and try to solve them. I think if you all have one statement which is there in this video is when Kennedy says that we will put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. So I think Akshay Kumar has used that particular statement in Mission Mangal, I believe. Right? Yeah.
He did.
Gopal, site to build games. You can go to Glitch. Glitch also has options where you can build games. Naveen, there is no particular course, but from the discussions we are having, like I think even Rohit can come online if he's available, because this is going to be a extended effort. Like we are not stopping this as a one-time, like the School of AI will not be like a one session which is happening now and we stop it. We are in plans to take this further. This was introduction sessions, what we had now. In the future, we are planning to go much deeper and come up with intermediate and advanced learning concepts as well. If you're specifically looking for any particular topic, please feel free to let us know and we can see how it works, how we can work on that. Ayush, in Telegram, it is much simpler. Like you need to go and configure something from Telegram's end as well. The best way I would say is open up the Dialogflow and select Telegram. You have it gives you step-by-step instructions how you can integrate this with Telegram. With Facebook, if you want to integrate with Facebook chat, you need to have a Facebook developer account. You need to configure a few things there. And then you can connect it with Dialogflow. Nina, as I said, like to integrate with websites, it will take a while for me to even explain. After downloading, you need to include certain packages, certain Dialogflow packages with your website as well. And all this data, all the demo till now, we use static data. There is a way where you could also integrate with some of the web services to fetch in data dynamically. I could not take you through that demonstration because you would also have to add your payment information. Though it is a trial, though we are using Google Cloud for that and it will be a trial, you would have to set up like payment information, you would have to add card details. And since students were involved, I did not do that. Maybe like if the faculty members are interested, please connect with Anamika. We can probably schedule another session and do completely like using web services.
Yeah, and we can do it school-wise also, just in case they want.
Yeah.
So there have been a lot of questions about workshops and more of the sessions. Yes, we would be doing that eventually. As Ghanshyam has said that, we would be getting back to you all with the advanced and intermediate and advanced courses, and we would keep you posted on it. You have to keep an eye on the SOI website, and we'll share the links with you when we conclude. But at the same time, if anyone who has a particular request, you all have my email ID. You can always write to me, and we can look forward to how we can bring it together. Yep.
Perfect.
So
I think thank you guys. Have a wonderful time.
Yeah,
I think
so
we
there
have
are
2
more
more
questions.
sessions maybe.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ghanshyam. I'm pretty sure the children have learned a lot, and you have, incited a curiosity among them. That's a beautiful thing. And we would look forward to having you more with us and having more sessions with you for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anamika. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.